Are there any suggestions we could do to improve? I'm going to take your silence as a no and move on to the next aspect, which is convenient meeting location. The average is 4.7, 4.07. Does everyone agree with the score? And are there any suggestions? Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Subhashni. I just had one question to ask because I remember asking this in a previous meeting about the meeting location. If it's at AB3, our fellow members from AB1 or AB2 find it quite difficult to travel back and forth. So, is there any possibility of having a meeting location somewhere in between campus that we could all meet, or is it that AB3 is comfortable for everyone?
Would the SA Toastmaster Shida like to answer this?
Guys, anyone if you can answer. It's just a question I'm posing. Is it that AB3 is comfortable for everyone, or does someone agree with me and wants the meeting shifted to a new location? Any points?
Okay, I shall answer it. Oh, wait, Toastmaster Samir, please go on ahead.
First one, Zamir.
Uh, I just wanted to say that I agree with Toastmaster Aditya's point. I felt that it was too far from, it is in one for corner of the campus, and I mean, it's a little too far, and especially for people who are in AB1, that's much harder. So, I mean, it works right now in the current situation where most of the members are from. Yeah, okay, I don't want to say that it works the way because it's still in one corner of the campus. Having it somewhere in between, I thought we for the previous time I thought I did ask if we could have it in maybe two, but then I think it was not possible. Just throwing out an idea, but I don't know if it'll happen. So,
Toastmaster Subhashni, you were
Um,
about to say something. I'm sorry.
yes. So, no, that's all right. It's difficult to get a room outside of AV3, particularly because there is a rule that the faculty coordinators must be present most of the time when we have a meeting. And with our faculty coordinators being parts of AB3, it's easier for them to check on the proceedings when it's in AB3. It would be better if we could have something in AB2, but I don't think that would be easy to get because the room procedure changes drastically. And this way is easier for our SAA to book the rooms and we can count on having a room every week rather than having that be another stressor every week. So part of
That's
why
a
we've
good
settled
point.
at AB3 is this.
That's a very good point. Well, thank you for that. I suppose no one else is against it because our overall score was 4.07. So I'm guessing most of you agree with it. So back to you, Toastmaster Subhashni.
So I shall move on to the next point, which is guests are invited to address the club. The average rating was a 4.47. Any suggestions on how you can improve this? Any objections? Taking your silence as a no, I shall move on to the next point. Guests are invited to join. The average was a 4.27. Does everyone agree with this rating? Any suggestions? Okay, I shall take your silence as a no and move on to the next point. If at all anyone has any suggestions at all, kindly pass them over to our VPM, Toastmaster Kalyani. Yes, Toastmaster Aditya, go ahead.
It was about that point exactly. It was at the OTP when I noticed some measures. One of them was being a guest handbook, sort of a manual as to how they could move around the club and get to know the club. But then I remembered Toastmaster Kalyani was already working on that, so I thought it may not be a point I want to bring up. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Moving on. Professionally arranged meeting room. The average is 3.87. Shall we consider that as a 4 in case we're rounding it up? And are there any objections to this? Any points on what we can improve? Toastmaster Kalyani and then Toastmaster Samir.
Actually, I would like to suggest that we should fix the speaker in our meeting room because we had a member from another club join and he couldn't even interact with us. So I would suggest that our meeting room speakers to be fixed as soon as possible. Other than that, I'm completely fine with every other arrangement.
Thank you for the point, Toastmaster Kalyani. Toastmaster Samir.
Yeah. I wanted to mention the same point. I thankful Toastmaster Kalyani had voiced it out.
Thank you for that valuable point, Toastmaster Kalyani, Toastmaster Samir. I shall move on to the next point, which is guest book and name tags provided. The average rating was 3.4. Does everyone agree to this? And are there any points to be brought up on how we can improve? Toastmaster Aditya, go ahead.
Not exactly a point, but just would like to ask, when they say name tags, do they mean for the members or for the guests themselves?
I think it's supposed to be for both. I'm not very sure about it myself.
If that is the case, it might be a bit more difficult to handle name tags for the guests because we have such a wide array of guests that keep changing every week. How do we handle that? Anyone?
Um, is anybody please?
I have a very naive solution to that. Uh, this is a very dumb one. I personally feel so, but someone can improvise on this. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice someone there's around, but I'll just finish this up. Write their name on a nice piece of paper and I don't have find a way so that they can pin it.
That would work. Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster Sami. And Toastmaster Kalyani? Yes.
Actually, the thing is that regarding guests, if you're planning to introduce name tags, I would think that's not necessary because most of the time I get text messages from our members or from the guests directly regarding they are planning to come for the meeting. So I text Sean or Subhashini regarding who all will come for the meeting. So I don't think guests need a name tag as such, and they already give a small introduction before the meet, like during the beginning of the meeting. So I guess that works. I don't think there's a need of a name tag for the guests as such, or but name tags for the members during the meeting would make it more professional. It's just a suggestion.
A very good point. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for those points. I shall move on to the next point, which is formal induction, including presentation of membership pin and manuals. The average is the 3.2. Does anyone contest this? And are there any points on how we can improve the score? Go ahead, Toastmaster Aditya.
I suppose I've raised this point before, but I'll do it nevertheless. As for membership pins, we've are we not allowed to get them? Because I remember it's quite difficult to order it from anywhere except for one particular website.
It's not that we aren't allowed to get them. We don't have a club budget as such to get them yet. I think so. Please, someone verify my words.
Anyone? All right, thank you.
Toastmasters Sean.
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Sean. So if that's the case, then I suppose we would have to address the root cause, which would be fixing a club budget. But I suppose that comes later on in the questions as well. So back to you, Toastmaster Subhashini.
So I shall move on to the next question. The rating is 3.93. Does anyone have any qualms about this rating and anything we can do to improve?
Toastmaster Subhashini, I couldn't hear the question. Could you just repeat once more?
Sorry, I shall repeat myself.
Yes, yes, miss.
Assignment of mentor, the average is a 3.93. Does anyone have any qualms about this and how we can improve this rating? And I'd like everyone to answer to this. If not by unmuting yourself, please at least engage through the chat box. Toastmaster Shita.
Yes, so I think we could enable something like regular updates for the mentor mentees because there have been very less updates in the past term and in the current term. So if something could be done, I think that could help the Toastmasters progress in their pathways as well.
So I'll briefly explain the mentor-mentee system. The mentor will be a senior Toastmaster, someone who's completed L2 or higher, and they would help the juniors, the mentees, be more proficient. So, in case they have an issue with their script or any doubts regarding their pathways, the mentees can direct all these questions to the mentor who will help them out. So, the mentors will also proofread your script or however, whatever doubts you have, you can clarify it through your mentors. So, most of the time, we try to get mentors from our club, and if in case that is not possible, we will get external mentors, and that is how the mentor-mentee system works. So it's up to the mentee to make as much use of their mentor as they can. Toastmaster Rishik, was that clear?
Yeah, I actually kind of had a few more points that I wanted to ask about. Um, how does this exactly work? Like, do we have one mentor, or do they change on a termly basis, or something like that? Could you make it a little more clear how it works?
Yes, sure. So the mentors don't change per term. It depends on the VP who assigns them. If the mentor continues in and the mentees and mentors are comfortable with discussing these points with each other, then the mentors remain the same. In case the mentors have graduated or are no longer Toastmaster, then the mentors will change. Or if the mentee requests for a change in mentor, we will change that. The assignment of mentor mentees will be released soon. Once there are a few members who don't have mentors yet, once we are able to allot mentors for them, we will release the full system out. So once the system is released, each mentor will be it's recommended that each mentor has a group with their mentees and they interact with them regularly. So you can ask for regular feedback on even table topics or whatever role you do. That is how the system will work. Are there any other questions regarding this? Okay, I shall move on to the next point. Education programs and recognition system discussed. The rating was a 3.8. And is there anyone who'd like to contest this rating and whatever we can do to improve the score? Toastmaster Aditya.
Toastmaster Subhashni, I would like to ask what exactly constitutes an educational program? Is it the educational sessions where other Toastmasters or distinguished Toastmasters come and speak to us?
What I understood from this is that the education programs, I think they're talking about the pathways and the different educational awards you can achieve. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I think that's what the education programs constitute. And the recognition system, again, goes to the awards, but in our club, we also do have Toastmaster of the Month, which tallies up all your points for things you do in the club, like taking up roles, speaking, attending, completing levels.
All right, got you.
Any other questions, anybody else? Taking your silences now, I should move on to the next question. Learning needs assessed. The average is a 3.79. Is there anyone who wishes to contest this rating? And is there anything we can do to improve? Taking the silence as a no, I'm going to move on to the next point, which is speaking roles assigned. The average is a 4.33. Does anyone wish to say anything? Please do engage in the chat box, guys, if speaking is difficult. I shall move on to the next point. Member involved in all aspects of club activities. The average is a 4.07. Are there any notions you'd like to raise? Toastmaster Aditya.
What exactly would you consider club activities, Toastmaster Subhashni?
Test taking up roles as a role player, being a part of the executive committee, anything that needs to be set up during the meeting, behind the scenes, that is what you'd call as club activities.
I suppose the only thing I could possibly think of that could improve on what we already have is if we have XCOM member education sessions, sort of let them know what we do. Apart from that, I think we do pretty well because we never short of role players and never short of prepared speakers. So yeah, I see the club is quite vibrant that way. Thank you.
So your suggestion was to have
To have our XCOM members have education sessions if anyone requests for them. Know how
okay,
we play our roles.
okay, that's a good suggestion. Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you.
So let's move on to the next point. Discussed accommodations for members with disabilities. The average rating is 3.29. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you. I'll move on to the next point. Guests greeted warmly and made welcome. Is a 4.4 average. I think we have discussed this earlier. Shall we move on?
Yes, I suppose so. There is some overlap amongst the questions.
Yes. Okay. Enjoyable and educational meetings planned. We have an average of 4.4. Does anyone have anything to say regarding this? This Master Sean, I think I would love to have TMOD again. However, in the short span of time that we have, our meetings run from 4:50 to 6 now, as we are unable to get the room for longer than that. So unless we have online meetings or manage to split the meetings into 2 times a week, we will not be able to have a TMOD session. And over TMOD or TTM, I think I would prioritize TTM so that the members get an extempore speaking experience. Over to you, Toastmaster Kalyani.
Subhashni, I don't know if this is possible, but I've heard older Toastmasters like Malavika say that they used to have meetings outside, like in the campus in front of AB1 as such. So if we keep meetings there, we wouldn't have to look into the time constraint, and we can have a monthly TMOD session like outside, like a meeting with the TMOD session. I don't know if that's possible, but it would be less work for the SA once a month, instead of running around and, booking for the room and all of that. It's just a suggestion.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kalyani. I think we can try that. Let us test it out after we get permission for that from our faculty advisors. And once the weather is better, I think the weather is very unpredictable now. Toastmaster Roshni?
Um, I think that's a good idea, but I'm not sure how comfortable the speakers will be for that because it might be a little distracting if it is outside. I mean, it's just a suggestion we can ask out.
Thank you, Toastmaster Roshni. I do agree with that. And part of the reason earlier there were meetings outdoors is because we weren't able to get a room. We'll try to maybe see if we can have an outdoor meeting someday. We'll have to look into the specs. Shall we move on to the next point? Regularly scheduled social events. The average rating is a 3.87. Does anyone have any points to raise? Toastmaster Kalyani?
What exactly was meant by social events? Is it meant by all the members like planning to go out somewhere collectively and have a meeting, or what exactly does it mean by social events?
To be honest, I have no idea. I think they mean like an organized networking session or something along those, or like a coffee session. I don't think any of those are allowed. Like, not allowed. I don't think any of those are feasible for us. So I'd have to agree with Toastmaster Sean and say that maybe the social events that we can try to implement is maybe not standing in front of AB3, but we can try to talk as a club during like unmoderated caucus outside of the meeting room, outside of AB3 in public space, maybe the ground or somewhere else, not in front, not obstructing any academic property. Shall we move on? Members participate in area, district, and international events. The average is a 4.47. Does anyone have any points for, against, or anything at all? This one, Sean, go ahead. If we are able to procure funding for the international conference, either through Toastmaster Sean or from the college, I don't think the latter is possible. So if we're able to get funding, let us go to the next international conference, which is going to be located in some ridiculous place, I'm sure. I shall move on to the next point. Interclub events encouraged. The average is a 3.53. Does anyone have anything to say? Toastmaster Aditya, go ahead.
Thank you, Toswas Subhashni. About the inter-club events, I was going through, well, my secretary's report for the end of term report last semester. And I noticed, I suppose because it was online, we didn't have any inter-club events. And I looked at Toastmaster Samir's report from the semester before that, and I noticed we don't really have much interaction with outside clubs, considering we're a college club. We mostly stick to very specific clubs, such as the ones our area directors are from, like Coimbatore Toastmasters Club. So I'm kind of unsure how we get in contact with other clubs. How do we bring about that sort of collaboration between the clubs? It's possible mostly individually, but I've never heard of a club-wide basis for it.
Toastmaster Sean, do you have anything to say in answer to that or anything else? Please chat.
Yes. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes.
Yes. All right. I'm sick, which is why I'm not presiding, by the way. This is why I've been typing a lot. But usually when it comes to having interclub events, we try to look at other people's timings as well. Because if a club usually has a meeting on Wednesdays, 5 p.m. or whatever, we can't just expect them to come to our college for Saturday 5 p.m. Maybe they have Saturdays as working, we have Wednesdays as offs. Similarly, it cannot be applied to us as well. We cannot go to their club for a meeting because usually it'll be held either a really early morning or at times that's during our working hours. So it's not possible for us usually. When it comes to meeting with other clubs, it usually happens at conferences. We had the officer training program recently where we interacted with SETC. We interacted with who else? We interacted with a bunch of clubs over there. We met, I think, uh, CMI's club, and the reason why we usually pick the area directors club, Coimbatore Toastmasters Club, is because it's a community club, and they are more freer, if you will. They are less bound by
Yep,
the
it
time
makes sense.
constraints.
Makes sense,
So
makes sense.
it makes it harder for us to have joint meeting with corporate clubs. Last term, we had one planned with the Schneider Electric company in Coimbatore, but I think
It
happened.
fell through.
I think
The,
it fell through because the water crisis happened during that, I believe.
yep.
So it's a very arduous task trying to figure out when everyone's schedules align so as to have it together. I think
And the venue and the
in
travel.
January,
Yep.
yeah, I think in January we had one with Rec Toastmasters, that is
Yeah,
Rajalakshmi
REC.
Engineering
Yeah, I remember
College.
REC.
Then had planned one with SETC, but that fell through because again there was some conflicts in scheduling and stuff like that.
Got it. Thank you,
It's a
Toastmaster.
very hectic process to get because mostly we have to agree on a date and a time and everything together. It's a long process, which is why we usually have at least we only have like one or two per term.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. Toastmaster Sean. I shall move on to the next point, which is club newsletter or website published and updated regularly. The average is 3.2. Any notions to be raised? Toastmaster Sean, go ahead. So Amrita Toastmasters Club does have a newsletter which is called the Communique. The current editor for the newsletter is Toastmaster Malavika, and her and Diti are working on that. We hope to see it soon. Any other questions? Toastmaster Aditya.
About the website side of things, I remember Toastmaster Sean was offering a few members a position on the team to work on our Amrita website. I was wondering if that was still an option this sem so that we can work together and make this happen so that our members know about it.
I think there were certain issues with that, such as for a Toastmasters club, we must have it hosted on the official free Toast host, and there wasn't much we could change in that. But Toastmaster Sean, over to you to explain the rest of it.
Sure.
Yeah, so essentially, we had to go through a lot of things because we weren't sure if we could have a different website. The essential premise was that Toastmasters International offers a web hosting service called Free Toast Host. And to make it easier for clubs to have websites without having someone that is well versed in front end and back end development, they made it really easy. So it's essentially just a bunch of frames that are already there, and all that a
Okay.
person needs to do is to fill in the details for that.
Got it.
These have not been updated for a while. They have remained the same for I think a lot of years, where the alternative offered to us was to host it on the Amrita servers. But
Okay. Got it.
regarding
Yeah.
how that's going to go forward, that is, as in how it's going to continue forward, that is up to the discretion of the current BPPR, Toastmasters Puja.
Got it. I suppose then, Toastmaster Pooja, is it okay if we discuss this later, or would you like to discuss it now? Toastmaster Pooja? I suppose she isn't here right now. Then Toastmaster Subhashni, I suppose, is back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vidya. Program and agenda publicized in advance. The average is a 4.53. Is there anyone who would like to contest the rating? Any suggestions? Anything at all? Moving on. Members know program responsibilities and are prepared to carry out all assignments. The average is 4.4. Is there anyone who has doubts regarding program responsibilities in general? Taking your silence as a no, I'm going to move on to the next point. All projects done by the members are from Pathways, the Toastmasters education program. We have an average rating of 4.5. Is there anyone who'd like to contest this rating? Toastmaster Sean, if the yes was to contest the rating, please go ahead and explain your reasons.
It's a no. Sorry.
That's all right. I shall move on to the next point. Meetings begin and end on time. The average is a 4.27. Is there anyone who would like to contest this rating? And any opinions you have on this topic? Yeah, I shall move on. Please, everyone, at least interact in the chat box. I see a lot of people who haven't responded to even a single point, and it's okay, but I think it would be better if everyone interacts a little bit. You don't have to speak if you would wish not to, but at least respond in the chat box. So, creative table topics and activities, we have an average of 4.67. Is there anyone who'd like to contest this rating? Any suggestions regarding the same? Anything at all? Taking a silence as a no, I'm going to move on to the next point, which is positive and helpful evaluations. We have an average of 4.5. Is there anyone who has any comments regarding the matter? Thank you, and I shall move on. The club has 20 or more members. We have an average rating of 4.47. Is there anyone who has any comments regarding the same? Toastmaster Sean. We currently have 25 members.
Toastmaster Subhashni, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Shall I move on?
Yes.
The next point is members are retained. We have an average of 3.87. Are there any questions? Toastmaster Pranav?
Yeah, hi. I'd like to add something. The last renewal term, no, two of our members, I think Madhumita and Hiba, they did not retain after just a single term in the club. And although although it's for members like Hemani and Nikita, it's understandable for them not choosing to retain their membership. I think we have to look into the newer members not choosing to retain. I think that's something that has to be looked into.
Thank you for that point, Toastmaster Pranav. We should look into ensuring that the newer members are retained from this term onwards. Are there any other points? Taking that silence as a no, I shall move on to the next point. Promotion of club in the community or within its organization. Our average rating is 4. Is there anyone who would like to contest this at all? Taking that silence as a no, I shall move on to the next point. Club programs are varied and exciting. The average rating is a 4.07. Is there anyone who would like to raise any notion or contest this rating or any suggestions? Toastmaster Aditya?
I suppose I'm encroaching on the previous point in which you explained why having a TMOD is quite impossible right now because of the time constraints. But the theme meetings and theme table topics, especially the game session that we had in the installation session we had the other day, the XCOM installation, they add a level of excitement that I don't think we usually get in the meeting. It's something new, something novel. And I get it, the time constraint has made that really difficult to pull off. But I feel like we could discuss about this. Maybe not now, maybe later, but I think we should address that. Because we did have it very common in our first two terms. Then we had a difficult term last time, and now the time constraints have sort of stopped us from doing that. But they were very novel meetings, and people always came for those.
Yes, Osman, we will try to introduce themed table topics. I did pitch this with the president, and we shall discuss this further in an XCOM meeting, perhaps, whether we can have the table topics master introduce a theme so that every meeting, even without the lack of a TMOD, we have the table topics master filling in that role as well, and therefore we have a theme every meeting. Otherwise, we'll try to look at a different date. We will try to fix the TMOD issue and get more team meetings.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sebastian.
Thank you for your points, Toastmaster Aditya and Toastmaster Ishita. Moving on to the next point, Toastmaster sponsoring new members recognized. Now, let me clarify. Sponsoring does not mean that you are paying for them. When a Toastmaster brings in makes a guest another Toastmaster, they can submit on their registration form that they have sponsored this Toastmaster. So if there are the district or the Toastmasters International, I'm not sure which one, has awards for people who manage to sponsor a set number of members, and the the topic discusses whether those Toastmasters are recognized. The average is a 3.27. Are there any questions or shall we move on? Toastmaster Aditya.
About that, Osman Sebastian, I suppose a lot of people, including me, didn't really understand. Thank you for clarifying. We could possibly bring this question up later, but yes, I didn't understand the question properly. And I suppose, yes, every membership form does have the Toastmaster introduced you, your sponsor. So the rating should be higher. I'm sorry for not clarifying that with the other members beforehand.
That's all right, Toastmaster Aditya. Now I shall move on to the next point, which is regular membership building programs. Our average is a 3.5. Is there anyone who'd like to contest the rating or bring up any points regarding the same? Thank you. I shall move on to the next point. Award applications immediately submitted to World Headquarters. The average is a 3.9. Any questions? Taking the silent. Okay, Toastmaster Sean. So at the end of every Toastmasters pathway has 5 levels, and at the end of every project, you submit on your bootcamp portal that you have completed level. Sorry, project. Once every level at the end of every level, there is an award you file immediately to World Headquarters. Those are the awards we're talking about. So if you complete for each level you complete, there is an award. For further clarification on this, we should have a session later along with the new member orientation. I shall move on to the next point. Progress charts displayed and maintained. This has an average of 3.6. Are there any questions? Toastmaster Aditya.
A progress chart of what exactly?
I presume they mean level completions as you move ahead in your projects. So I think we do that through Toastmaster of the Month, and especially with anyone who completes a level gets a shout out on our socials. So I think that is
Got
how
it.
we would maintain a progress chart.
Very true. Thank you, Osman Sebastian.
Any other questions, everyone? Yeah, I shall move on. Toastmaster Sean.
My bad.
Thank you. Member achievements formally recognized with ceremony. The average is a 3.8. Now, for anyone who wonders whether this has been done, we do try to do this, especially with level completion certificates. We try to then give them to the Toastmaster during special meetings and felicitate them accordingly. If there are any other questions regarding this, do let me know. Taking the silence as a no, I shall move on to the next point. Club, district, and international readers recognized. We have an average of 4.3. Any questions? Toastmaster Aditya and then Toastmaster Sean. Go ahead.
Does the recognition mean that we know of them, or does it mean we recognize them when they walk into a meeting? What exactly does that entail?
I'm not too sure of the answer myself, but I think that would mean we know of them, that you highlight the role the person plays and not that you introduce them as such. I mean, when it does come to district leaders, we do address them as such, but other than that, I think is that we know who's performing what role, especially when it comes to the club.
Got it. Got it.
Toastmaster Sean?
That was just an answer to so as in when it comes to personally as a club, we really only need to know who our club officers are, who our area officers are, and district officers are. Sorry, division. I forgot division. Division district. As long as we know these four levels, we're mostly in the clear. Since we don't go internationally very often, or at all. So since that doesn't happen, the international presidency and international leaders don't really matter as much. They just serve as useful bits of trivia if they ask.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sean. Moving on, club and member achievements publicized. We have an average of 4.47. We've gone through this point earlier indirectly. Is there anyone who has anything to ask or say regarding the same? Toastmaster Sean?
Uh, if my presidential addresses count as speeches, when am I getting my level 5 achievement?
I don't think they do.
Please.
I'm sorry, Toastmaster Sean, that will not be counted. Your presidential addresses do not last a minimum of 4 minutes 30 seconds, and they are not good enough to be considered as a speech that
Wow.
fulfills your speech
Wow.
objectives.
Also, we
Wow.
are forgetting the fact there was no evaluator assigned to you, no one to say that you passed. So I don't think neither me nor the VP could approve that. So
No, that's
It's
okay. I'm
public opinion.
evaluating everything that goes on in the meeting, and I will not approve of that as a level completion.
Uh, uh, uh,
then I
see,
suppose, Toastmaster Sean, you have to work on your speeches, and we shall assign you a slot whenever you wish. So
Halloween. I shall see you guys on Halloween 2025.
sure. Why 2025? Why not 2024? It's not here yet.
Too
You
late.
have time.
I'm too lazy to make. I'm too lazy to make speech for 2024.
Okay.
I mean, I find myself very busy
I'm
and
fulfilling the role of a president.
unavailable
Yes.
for.
This one, Sean, let's have this conversation later.
Yes, we
We shall
have
move
one
on.
more question, and then we
Yes.
can figure this out.
DCP is used for planning and recognition. Now, let me explain what DCP is. DCP refers to Distinguished Club Program, and we try to earn DCP points, and you get points from different things you do in the Toastmasters realm, such as 50% members getting level completions, or the entire XCOM attending the OTP. And this is planned for the entire Toastmasters year. So this term and the next. So is DCP used for planning and recognition was what the topic was about, and we our average is 4. Does anyone have any questions? Toastmaster Sean, Toastmaster Aditya, go ahead.
Wait, Toastmaster Aditya first.
Okay, I suppose we should just have an educational session about the DCP because us officers, executive officers, attended the OTP and we got an idea over there. So we could hold one for the club so they understand what we're trying to achieve, why we're doing it, and how we get there. I think that would be really helpful.
I think we do introduce them during new member orientation. At
We
least
do.
I
I
think
was
I
there for
remember.
mine. It was there for mine, but I wasn't quite clear. So I suppose we could hold one educational session for the brand manual, the DCP, and the new member orientation. Set everything in order.
Yes. The brand manual is mostly an XCOM thing. It really doesn't. It's not
All right.
really useful to
The rest of the club. Got
outside
it.
of
Got it.
outside
Got
of
it.
the executive committee because we are the only ones making material for the club. So whether it's reports or whether it's posters, so the brand
Got it.
manual only applies to us. When it comes to the DCP, right? DCP, we can have a session regarding it, but it's pretty straightforward. I don't think we would have enough to have a full educational session on it. I think, but I'll leave that up to Subhash to decide. And yes, how many DCP points are there? That's my question. How many DCP points are there? Uh, yeah, and how can a member help to earn them?
So there are 10 DCP points. And two of the ways that I can list off from the top of my head is all the XCOM members can attend the OTP, get trained, and gain DCP points. And by completing your levels, you can help the club earn DCP points. So those are two ways I could think of the top of my head. There are a lot of other ways, and I'm not sure if we'd be able to have it. I don't think we would get a lot of people attending it if we have an entire session on it. Perhaps someday when we have enough time, the president can introduce the DCP and the as a part of their address. Toastmaster Aditya?
Well, if nothing else, to make sure everyone reads it, we could send in a photo or a PDF with an explanation of what the DCP is. Because it is pretty straightforward, as Toastmaster Sean put it. It's a point for certain activities. At least that way to reach the club, even if you don't attend a session.
Yes, I think we can do that.
All right.
So that brings us to the end of all the questions. Does anyone have any general points to raise? Ignoring all of this structure, anything you feel, maybe you don't like something in the meeting, maybe you just want some more of something. Besides the TMOD point that has already been discussed, does anyone have anything at all? I'd strongly encourage everyone to speak. I'd like everyone to at least tell me one point. Besides you, Toastmaster, that they will get to you. Okay, Toastmaster Roshni.
I'm actually, this is just a doubt. I'm not sure what practices we're doing for spreading the news about Toastmasters, like to encourage more guests to join. Because me personally, I got to know Toastmasters only because I think you were a part of it. So I just wanted to know how are we getting the news around about Toastmasters in the campus specifically.
Um, Toastmaster Kalyani, would you be answering the question?
Yeah, sure. Roshni, the thing is that Sir Ramguru sir requested the VPPR, that is Pooja, to make posters and paste it all around the campus. So that would be one. And the second thing is that I am planning to interact with a few juniors and let them know about the club, because Ramguru sir said that our club has permission to add first years as such, and these are the only things planned right now. I think us as an excom can plan more ideas as the days go. I guess that would work.
Yeah, okay. I think that is what I was going to suggest, to like go talk to the first years and tell them about the club. I think we can come up with a few more ideas too.
Yeah,
Toastmaster
okay.
Sean?
Right. So this comes under membership campaigns. So as part of Toastmasters, sorry, as part of the Amrita Toastmasters Club, we hold two main membership campaigns in a year. One happens every even semester. That is the Pick It Up, which was held in last Sem 2, I believe. The other one is in every odd sem that happens in conjunction with Anoka. For example, for Anoka last year, we had Meet the Moguls. For Anoka this year, we have an event, the Bar Dialogues. So these are the main ways that we spread the word of Amrita Toastmasters Club to the bigger campus. Apart from that, it's mostly just social media that we approach people through. That is via regular posters, by having guest groups, and through word of mouth, as you mentioned. Toastmaster Roshni. Yeah, that's it.
Toastmaster Aditya, go ahead.
It's nothing. I just want to respond to Toastmaster Sean. I think our Pick It Up competition was held in the odd semester last year. I'm not exactly sure, but
Yes, yes, Toastmaster Aditya, I'd like to clarify. So every club in Amrita holds their induction in the odd semester when the new members come in, which is, so Pick It Up is held in the odd semester. So it was held in the odd semester. So when you guys came in, it was in Sem 1. And Anoka is typically in the even semester. So that is held
got it.
in the even sem. So our Anoka event goes in the even sem. However, this time, because of the water shortage, Anoka is pushed to the odd semester. And because it is not, we don't have enough time to have both events, and there is no point in having both events when we can devote
Yep,
our time to one event. So we shall be having our Anoka event, Darbar Dialogues, for this term as our membership campaign.
got it. Thank you.
Toastmaster Damini, do you have anything to say?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Hello.
You are.
Oh, I think that for most part, I do agree with all of this. And personally, what I like about ATC, or what I think that we're doing well, is being open and welcoming to any guests that attend, just based off the personal experience of myself and a couple of guests that I have brought to the meeting before. And I really think that we all do come together and make them feel really welcome and encourage them. So I think we're doing that really well. That's it, I guess.
Thank you, Toastmaster Damini. I think on that note, while the VPPR does make all these posters that go on our socials, I think we can also spread it in our class groups so that more people get to know. And Toastmaster Siri, do you have anything you'd like to contribute?
Uh, uh, Not really. I agree with all the points that have been raised. Well, I'm still kind of new to this club because I haven't participated much during the online sessions. Um, so I'm looking forward to be a more active part of this club and have new experiences. That's it.
Thank you. Toastmaster Anand, anything you'd like to say? Toastmaster Anand, are you there? Okay, Toastmaster Drushi.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say? Anything you would like us to improve on, or whatever it is?
No, I've been very happy with how the club has been functioning. And yeah, when it comes to the guests, I feel like the inclusion on the guests have been great, especially ever since I joined back again. I think it's been better actually since when I joined as a guest and now how it is. Because if I'm being candid here, when I first joined the club, I was pretty intimidated by the um, speakers and their ability. But now that I see the guests, they're more open to interact because they're not as intimidating or formal anymore. And yeah, I think that's a great improvement.
Thank you, Toastmaster Drushi. Toastmaster Pranav, Toastmaster Ishita, Toastmaster Sean, Toastmaster Kalyani. Anything else? Anybody? You all
I
have
think
one
we're
minute
good.
to
We're
decide.
good. Sorry, Subhashni, but I think we're good. Everyone seems to have summed up a lot of the points. Just one suggestion I had from my end was at the OTP, we were informed that, while we take into account the guests, their names and phone numbers into the attendance book, we should also make note of the members who are attending. So it will be easier for all the Toastmaster of the month and things. So I would just like to raise that suggestion from my end.
Yes, we should try to implement that from the next meeting. Toastmaster Sean and then Toastmaster Aditya. Go
I
ahead.
think the secretary has something to say in response to Ishita's.
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Sean. I was about to agree with Toastmaster Ishita because it does take me quite a while to look around and note down people's attendance, especially when they are Toastmasters, because we don't have a Toastmaster attendance book. I was planning to implement it myself, but thank you, Toastmaster Ishita. You've been a real help introducing that here.
I have a question. For the Toastmasters attendance, how about we add that to the voting forms? So people will be
That was
required to fill their
exactly my
names.
point. Yes, even guests could just add their names over there. We could just add a form within the form, whether you're a guest or a Toastmaster, and then just the name. That way it'd be much easier for me to take attendance.
So we can
Um,
try that from the upcoming
can
meeting.
I
Toastmaster
ha
Kalyani?
Yeah, sorry for interrupting, but would I be able to access the form if we are planning to for the guests? Because I would like to contact them later on, asking whether they would be interested in coming for the rest of the meetings or getting suggestions from them. I would want to have, access to the form if we are planning to pass one around for the guests.
Sure,
Toastmaster
absolutely. I
Ishita?
suppose you could do that.
So in response to Toastmaster Kalyani's question, thing is we actually do have the contact numbers and the names of the guests in the attendance book, and I will be sharing them to you from the next meeting onwards. Regarding the forms, I think we can implement we can take in guests' names and the Toastmasters' names. So I think we can try doing that from the next meeting onwards.
Toastmaster Sean?
Two things. One, Toastmaster Ishita, when you start implementing this from the next meeting onwards, please make sure to share the results the details that you get from the form with the secretary for attendance and with the vice president membership for the guests. And second, I would like to ask all of you to stay back for a moment after this session's over. I have a question I would like to ask.
Okay. Are there any final questions? If not, shall we adjourn? Toastmaster Aditya, I'm not sure about the procedure. Do we just adjourn the meeting as such, or is there anything left to do?
Well, one last point I would like to raise is this has been a great session, first of all. Thank you everyone for interacting. A few people had to leave. They messaged me privately. It's completely fine. I know the meeting is quite late, so two things for the next MOT would be first ensure more participation and hopefully we could keep it at a more convenient time. I know it was quite a bit rushed, but we had to do it this quickly. So yeah, apart from that, I don't think there's anything left to say. We can adjourn the meeting, I can stop recording, and we could just have our session. But the Toastmaster Sean, I believe you had something to ask. You just said so.
It can be asked after we adjourn and end the recording.
Sure. Then I will pass it over to Toastmaster Subhashini.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. Thank you, all of the members, for coming and attending this session. We will try our utmost to improve the club on all the points that were discussed and even in other points that we may have forgotten to discuss today. I hope you all continue to be members and continue to take this club forward from this term to the next and all the succeeding terms. And I hope that you have an enriching experience as a Toastmaster. Thank you. And with that, I declare the Moments of ATC's Moments of Truth adjourned.